Hi, I'm the Zen Bear, and welcome to Her Story. Now, I have been hearing a lot about this game. People have been either hating this game or loving it, and it's quite an adventurous developer to make an FMV game in, 2015, because those are kind of dying out, and props to you, man, for being adventurous. Now, I've never really been a fan of FMV games, even if it was an adventure game. Gabriel Knight 2 sparks to mind. It was a nice adventure game, but it's just, you get the odd video clips and awkward acting, and it always put me off. But hopefully this one is going to be different. As far as I understand it, it's a story, well, it's a video database of a woman and her missing husband, and we're trying to figure out what happened. It's basically a detective story. So without further ado, let's start the game. Yep, this looks just like 1994, and I like the neon lighting glows. That's a very nice touch. It makes me think of Windows 95. So what do we have in here? No, I don't want to quit this. I want to look at my screen. Southeast Constabulary. Alright, DB checker. Database, I think. Rubbish bin. Hack info. I've read about these a little bit. This is just a game. And this is a Grace hack. Mirror game. Alright, it's probably for the game. Really read me. Hey, here's the database. I filed a Freedom of Information form to get you guest access. Everything seems to work. They transferred the videos off the original tapes in 1999, and then the whole Y2K thing hit, and they got mothballed. No one has touched them since. I couldn't find the server with the detective's footage on. Possibly those tapes got damaged when the old archives were flooded in '97, but figured this would be enough. Take your time. I will. Introduction. Okay, so this is how you play the game. I'm just gonna read this real quick. So what you basically have to do is be pretty good at Google search words. Like if you Google a lot, you might tend to know what to search for. To retrieve a clip, type in a word into the search field, and all the clips in which the speaker uses the word will appear. Makes sense? Alrighty, I think I have all the know-how to run the game, and it starts me off with murder, so apparently there was a murder. Hey, miss. 11 seconds. Alright, play.
You think it's murder?
Yeah.
I mean, clearly it's murder.
Obviously.
What can I do to help?
You can tell me where you hid the body. Nice t-shirt.
Yeah, that's me. But February, that was months ago. What's that got to do with Simon's murder?
So I imagine this is the lady whose husband is missing, named Simon. I kind of want to see her tattoo. I noticed a tattoo on her arm.
I didn't murder Simon.
Of course you didn't.
You've got it wrong. You've got the wrong person.
I got it totally wrong. Hey, you're dismissed. You can go home and have some nice Simon pie. So far, I have accused her of murder, hiding the body, and being a cannibal. This is going okay. This is fine.
I'd like to speak to a lawyer now. Please. You have no murder weapon. You have nothing. And all these stories we've been telling each other. Just that. Stories.
So you've been telling stories that aren't true. Alright, let's talk about Simon. The guy you killed, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if she killed him. I don't know what happened. Apparently it's very complicated.
Simon Smith. He works at Ernst Brothers Glass. They do windows, all kinds of glass. Simon does the more special work, mirror making, feature windows, artistic things, really beautiful things.
Really beautiful things indeed. You can see him draped over my front door window. Beautiful.
Simon is 6 foot, darkish blonde hair, average build. He's clean shaven. If his beard grows, it goes ginger, so he shaves it. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with ginger hair. I bought a photo. They said a spring photo. This was taken last year on holiday in Rome. It's the best one I have.
Alright, so we're getting an idea of what Simon looks like. What did he look like when you kind of chopped up his body, though?
It's the Rockington Arms, The Rock.
The Rock.
It's run by a nice couple, Peter and Susan. There's some other regulars there that Simon likes to drink with, and the barmaid they're having sometimes, Helen. Peter said Simon had been in and had a few drinks.
Alright, so he had a few drinks. Was he an alcoholic? Probably. I have to give props to the actress. She is really doing a good job. This is turning out to be a pretty good game so far.
Yes, there's an Amstrad one. No one uses it for very much. There's a printer so you can write letters on it. Simon sometimes plays games, you know, climb the tower, save the princess, that kind of thing.
Ah, the 90s. I remember when I had my first gaming console, and actual Nintendo consoles were very expensive and not many people could afford it. So I had a rip-off SNES, and it was called the Terminator. Right, back to murdering.
Simon isn't the type to run off or do anything crazy. Someone must have done something to him, or there must have been some kind of accident.
Oh no.
So what do we do next?
You tell me about that accident that happened when Simon fell into the knife in your hand. Accident. Tell me more about this accident.
When I was 8, Mother died. She slipped down the stairs.
Because you pushed her.
It was an accident. I had read a diary at that point and I knew she wasn't my real mother. So I burned the diary that day and I left. Walked out and across the street.
Very peculiar how all these accidents are happening around you. So you were adopted. Adopted. Not adopted.
Well, she wasn't my real mother, but she raised me. Do you want to take the story?
Yeah.
It's a real life fairy tale.
Tell me the story. Oh, come on. What should I search to find the story? Oh, a lot of new clips.
It wasn't the present so much. It was one of those arguments that had been simmering for a while. The present was a mirror. A nice mirror. He'd engraved the glass, the kind of mirror a princess would have in a story. He made it specially for me.
So you were having arguments with Simon, all right? I noticed the fact that, you know, there are separate interviews, and I'm trying to, like, not go too randomly with the stories, because then she goes off with her mother, and then with Simon, and then beautiful red clothing. But I want to see them.
It's Rapunzel. The story starts when she's born. Mother Gothel, a witch, takes Rapunzel from her parents and keeps her locked up in this tower. Rapunzel gets pregnant by the prince.
What?
And Mother Gothel is furious, so She cuts off her hair and throws it. Actually, her hair's already short here, so that's already happened. But she throws her into the wilderness, and Rapunzel is reunited with the prince, who's blind. But she kills him with her tears, and so it's a happy ending. Is that too much?
Is that the real story? I actually can't really remember the actual story, but I don't remember it being that realistic with pregnancy and throwing her out into the wilderness and the prince being blind.
Yes, like a story. A beginning, a middle, and an end. Well, she has a knife.
Of course.
She's been cooking, I guess. She's been cooking him his favourite meal. She's his wife. He's asleep and she doesn't want to wake him because he's ill. That's why she's sad. Because he's ill and he might die.
Like Simon did. Because of me.
Sad story so much nowadays.
Okay. Not getting it though. 7 entries found. Access limited to first 5 entries. Okay, so I'm limited? Okay. I'm not exactly sure how many of these videos are relevant to finding out the story, but she did mention they had arguments. Arguments. Ooh, now that's a lot of arguments.
Yes.
Yes, arguments.
He left after the argument. It was about 8 o'clock.
Okay. Well, why don't I get more of this with you dressed like this? Fine.
So, it was Friday evening. We had an argument. He left. On Saturday, he didn't come back. I waited all day. He was supposed to go help Eric out with something on the Saturday afternoon. They had a job. He didn't show. So Eric was ringing on the phone. I checked at the Rock, that's our local. They said they'd seen him on the Friday night, but not since. He still wasn't back this morning. It just isn't like him at all. Still not back by dinner time. It's getting dark again. So I decided to come see you. His parents haven't heard anything either.
Interesting. I'm just gonna make a tag here to search a bit later on The Rock, because they saw him on Friday.
No. I think he spoke to Helen. She said he was upset about her argument, but I'm not sure what else he said. He likes Helen. He likes blondes.
Ooh, was there an affair going on? Helen.
There's no couple stuff. A stupid argument, nothing specific. No one knows how to push your buttons better than those you're close to.
That's because they know you so well, so they really, really know what ticks you off. But you love them nonetheless until you kill them. Brutally.
No.
No.
I mean, yes, we have arguments, but no, he never runs off. He always comes back. We make up. It's always that way.
Well, this time he couldn't have run off because you cut off his legs so that he couldn't move anymore. Come on, admit it. Admit it. Right, so we're gonna ask about The Rock.
Oh God, I don't know. I mean, I guess The Rock. We've spoken to everyone there. Someone must have seen where he went. I don't know. So many things could have gone wrong.
I just noticed something. Didn't she have a tattoo here and now it's not there anymore? Did she get a tattoo between the interviews? Bold. Very bold.
No. No one has been in the
No,
last
it's
few
covered.
weeks. We had a plumber come in 3-4 weeks ago. Someone summoned you from the rock.
Plumber. I'm sure the plumber will be very useful. Nope, no other mentions of plumber. Okay, let's talk about Helen. Nope, nothing about Helen. Mother. Mother. Mother.
I would have been a good mother. I was young, but I would have been a good mother. She was a girl, by the way, the baby. We were going to call her Sarah. Simon wanted to call her Ava after his nana, but I didn't want her to have a symmetrical name.
Because you're crazy? What's wrong with Ava? It's a beautiful name. So I'm guessing she had a miscarriage.
My mother called me Eve.
So you're Eve. 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 I'm writing this down. Eve. Add. I don't think... Can I delete these? How do I remove them from sessions? Oh, damn you, Windows 95!
Okay. There's a girl and she's staring out of the window. She's sad. She's trapped. She's here. She's looking out the window because her mother won't let her out.
So that's the Rapunzel story. I don't think that's very relevant. But she did mention that her name was Eve. Let's talk more about Eve.
Well, my friend Eve.
My friend Eve?
I mean, she was a friend from when I was a kid. And she was always more popular with the boys, and I used to hate her for it. I mean, really hate her sometimes.
Are you crazy? You just said you were Eve, like in that video. Are there two? Are they... Interesting. Maybe they're maybe she has a twin. Because one video she didn't have a tattoo, but in the other... interesting.
Yes. We'd fight. We fought on the beach once, and I held Eve's head underwater. There was no one else around. It was at the far end of the beach, and I held her head under, and I kept it under. And for a moment, I just wanted to kill her and watch her drown. But that was it. It was just a moment. We made up afterwards. It was a love-hate relationship.
It was just a moment, you know, but with Simon, it was about 5 moments before he died. Okay, so who are you exactly?
A police station. Yeah, when I was young. We ran away on my birthday. Bob Dylan was playing in London, and we thought we could break into his tour bus and have him take us with him. The taxi driver we paid to drop us off. I mean, we'd saved money, pinched a bit here and there to pay for the fare. He was suspicious because we were so young, so he told the police. So they came and picked us up and took me back to Portsmouth. My mum picked me up from the station. But I blamed everything on my friend Eve, so my parents let me off.
Interesting. My friend Eve. What's your name? Are you okay? Hannah. Who's Hannah? Come on, girl, give me more names.
What are you doing talking about Eve?
You're Hannah. Are you doing a little message right there? Poor Simon. Oh, I thought she was going to jump and attack us. I'm talking to two different women, or it's the same one, but she has like a little bit of a personality issue? Eve and Hannah? Hannah. Hey, Hannah. Oh, okay, so this is Eve talking about Hannah.
My name is Hannah.
Okay.
H-A-N-N-A-H.
Alrighty. Alrighty then. You're
It was the
crazy.
same backwards as forwards. It doesn't work if you mirror it though. It's not quite symmetrical, but well, I mean, you get the idea. Sorry. Hannah Smith. I live at 31 Gladstone Street.
But you didn't like symmetrical names, like Ava. Okay, we're gonna discuss about the miscarriage in just a little while, but you are something special.
Yes. My name is Hannah Smith. Oh, shit. Sorry.
Oh shit, sorry, I forgot I was crazy.
Across the road, where my parents first lived there, was a midwife called Florence. When Hannah was born, I was born at the same time. The midwife was there to help. I'd been throttled by the cord, probably wrapped around my neck by Hannah. The midwife told my mother I was dead. But I wasn't. She wrote all this stuff in a diary. Amazing what people will admit to on paper.
Okay, so, ooh. Whoa, what was that? There's a reflection. Diary. Florence, maybe? Although I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. Miscarriage. I'm just trying to remember. I should probably open, like, a notepad or something, because I have so many leads. Sarah. Or Ava. And what else do you have to say? Hannah or Eve or whatever your name is.
She recognized me from the window. She told me to come inside, and she hid me. They had made the attic into a place where Hannah could play. It was a dollhouse. She hid me up there. No one else ever went into the attic. It was her place.
As far as I why do I keep getting a person flicker? Is that the person accessing the computer? I don't know who that is. But as far as I understand it, she had a twin, because it said, oh, the cord was probably wrapped around my neck by Hannah. So you're Eve right now? But then you come out to say you're Hannah? Either it's... She probably had a twin, but she has also like a personality disorder. It's all very mysterious. Okay, diary.
No, he doesn't keep a diary. That's my thing. I've kept one, well, as long as I can remember, since I was a girl. Helps make sense of my day. And when you're forced to put something into words, just gives you perspective. Everyone's on the same page.
Everyone's on the same page. Every body that I murder is also on the same page. Helps me keep a track of all the names, you know?
Florence was a warm, kind person. But she was broken, I guess. When I found her diary, I also found a biscuit tin with other stuff in it. Older papers, letters, that kind of thing. Her story wasn't there. I never really spoke to her about it. I was far too young to really understand, I guess. I just put it together later, once I was older. She had loved children, planned to have a large family, but her husband died in the war. And that was back when you married for life. She never felt like she could marry again. Isn't that strange? She was a widow from her 20s. Well, I mean, I guess it was different then. You know, you married for life and she felt she could never marry again. I guess it was harder, a war widow. One of the dead. I don't know, maybe there was more to it than that. I don't really know.
Yeah, times were tough. Now you just have the internet, and you can meet anyone. At any time.
It just became our way of life. We would swap places and take it in turns to do things. And we were very careful. Whoever had been out that day would come back and write a detailed diary so that we were on the same page. We had a list of rules that said what we could and couldn't do in any given situation. It was exhaustive. We lived a second life through those rules. Rules for things that could only ever happen inside our imaginations. We would consider all the permutations of future events and agree rules to walk our way through them.
I imagine you were speaking to your twin sister or split personality about these rules? Rules. I don't know if it'll lead anywhere. Rules. Let's keep with the same interview.
Hannah was so smitten with Simon. She started getting jealous, didn't want to share. Even the first date. We went to see Tom Cruise at the Old Odeon. We both went, kept changing places in the toilet. We only had one best dress, so we had to keep swapping clothes. Must have thought we had terrible bladder problems. The next date, it was my turn. At the end, I let him kiss me, but that was it. We didn't want another card on our hands, and the Ouija board had said to hold back. After that, it was Hannah's turn, and she slept with him. Broke the rules. Deliberately broke the rules. She wanted to be the first to sleep with him. I mean, that's when she got pregnant. From that one time.
Ooh, now a police car. It's kind of freaking me out that I get that screen reflection. We got two more things to search from this. A car, which was probably another swapping experiment that the twins did? I'm going with twins because she's talking like there was another person there, but I'm not exactly convinced. And the Ouija board event that happened. But apparently Hannah was the one that got pregnant? So I'm gonna write this down. Hannah, with double N. Hannah pregnant. Carl and Ouija board. How the fuck do you spell Ouija board? Probably like this. Maybe. Ooh, a lot of stuff to search. Do twins actually do this? Like, they just date a guy, but it's actually both of them going on a date with them? And kind of tricking him? It's very... kinda cruel. Kinda cruel. Let's talk about Florence some more, because Florence is swell.
Florence took me home with her. Mother hadn't been expecting twins and had a healthy baby. I guess she was just happy for Florence to clean up. Take away the evidence that this was anything but a happy occasion.
Wait a minute. So your mom only took one of the twins and Florence took you with her? That's not how it works. You take both babies if you have them. I guess different times. Florence
raised me in her home. I never left it. She kept me out of sight. It wasn't odd for people to see a midwife with a baby, carrying in supplies, washing nappies, that sort of thing. I never knew any different. I grew up looking out of my window and seeing her across the road. I thought it was like a reflection in the mirror. She was me.
So I'm getting the relevance of the Rapunzel thing because she felt like Rapunzel. She was probably like kept indoors all the time. Although in modern society you would probably notice that there was a girl on one side of the road and then on the other side of the road there was the same girl, but what? People must have figured it out that they were twins, and she must have figured it out that she had a twin and Florence wasn't her real mom.
No, it was just me and her. Eve was the name they were going to call their first child. They talked about it and were going to try when it came back. Florence's family had a history of firstborn girls, so they were convinced it was going to be a girl. It's hard to know if this is all true. These are stories I remember that I read when I was a child. Maybe I misread, maybe I misunderstood. Sometimes it's hard to remember what happened last week.
I mean, I killed so many people last week, it's kind of hard to distinguish, like, oh, who did I murder on Mondays? Okay, so still pretty confused about who she is, or if both of the girls were interviewed. It's very interesting. We're gonna go back to the miscarriage, because that was the root of her argument with Simon. Miscarriage. Ooh, a lot of videos. And I think this was the one who was identifying as Hannah?
No. I lost the baby. I had a miscarriage at 8 months. We carried on living at Simon's parents until, well, it was only a few months after.
Go on.
Then my parents died. It was the worst year of my life. A miscarriage and then my parents.
So your parents died. Were you aware of your twin?
Yeah. They'd gone to bed feeling ill, thinking it was flu or something. The neighbour called me, I had to use my key to let them in. We found them dead in their bed. And they'd been there for days. No one had noticed.
Yes,
Just awful.
no one noticed.
It was so soon after my miscarriage.
It was the
The worst
perfect
year of my
cover-up.
life. I'd been so happy to get married, and after that it was just like, fuck.
So upset, I mean, God. Super angry. Stop it with the reflection, it's freaking me out.
Yeah. I mean, I was infertile. Thought I was. They told me I was infertile after the miscarriage because of complications.
Well, you could always adopt twins and really confuse them about their life. Just like separate them and make things interesting for them. That's a nicer way of putting it. Miscarriage. Sarah or Ava. Let's go with those names and see what comes up. I think Sarah was what she wanted to name the miscarried girl. No, nothing new. What about Ava? Nope. I'm kind of getting out of leads, but I still have these. So, Hannah, pregnant. 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 Aha! More stuff.
Can you imagine? I tried. I tried to get pregnant too, but it didn't happen. I slept with so many boys, men. My body refused. I think my period stopped because hers had. I was pretty though. I mean, how could we stay the same now? Felt like Hannah had really fucked things up. Set us down separate paths. We had become different.
So you just wanted to be like Hannah? Interesting that she mentions her period stopped because Hannah got pregnant, but that's not how women work, usually. So you got pregnant as well? And you were completely delusional about the other person? Okay.
No. The parents decided there would be a wedding. And after the wedding, Hannah moved in with his parents. There was no way I could follow. So we were separated again. I stayed in the attic. It was hard. It's like I suddenly didn't exist. I would sneak out, but in case anyone recognized me, I started wearing a wig. Hannah and I would meet up in the park. I was trying to get pregnant. But I couldn't. I mean, I couldn't do it with anyone we knew, so it was sex with strangers, drunk guys I'd met in clubs, parks and alleyways. I was 17. It felt like I was being punished. But it was Hannah who had betrayed us. I had to stop when one of the guys gave me an STD. When we met up, it was disturbing. For the first time, my reflection, she didn't look like me. She was fatter, flushed. If anything, I was getting skinnier. Found it hard to look sometimes. We talked about what to do. Was it time to become our own people? I mean, that seemed like the right thing to do, but neither of us wanted it. We agreed that her and Simon would get their own place as soon as possible, and then I could move in.
What?
And that was the plan.
Okay. That's crazy. Why would you want to be the third wheel? That's super awkward. It's like, yeah, you guys can finally get your own place, have the baby, and then I will move in and make it really super uncomfortable and confusing for Simon. And the baby. Because it wouldn't know which one was the mom. That's how babies work, I think.
I think it was that time, the first time at the house, in his bed, that I got pregnant. Amazing, right? This fucking magic sperm. And they say lightning doesn't strike twice. I didn't tell him. I missed 3 periods. I had pretty irregular periods anyway, but 3. I had always thought we were infertile. Both of us. I didn't tell him. Just waited. Hannah and I were meeting for our birthday, and I told her because I thought she would be happy for us both. I think she was.
So did she also sleep with Simon? And Simon didn't know, or he knew what he was doing? Like, did she, like, sleep with Simon while her twin was pregnant? Interesting. Let's talk about Carl. Oh, there's a lot to talk about Carl. Carl must be really interesting.
Differences? She's a better driver than me. She passed the test for us. I tried to take it and nearly crashed the car. Learned that you can't rely on confidence to get you through everything. She is the shy one. She was especially shy around boys. If Hannah liked a boy, I would have to pursue him. It was that way with Carl. Hannah met him first. She had such a crush. I let him take my virginity after a night that his band had played at. It got difficult. When I was with Carl, we would have sex, but Hannah couldn't let him see she was a virgin. She had lots of excuses. After a while, we decided that I should take Hannah's virginity. It's not that different to a bruise, pulling a tooth, a graze.
What?
We used a hairbrush.
Okay.
After that, we took him in turns, though. I was always the one who seduced the boys. Until Simon.
Okay. So she lost her virginity for her sister, her twin sister, and then she took her sister's virginity with a hairbrush? Man, this story's convoluted.
Family. So, Carl fucked off, and then there were other boys here and there, and then Simon.
Simon, with his fucking magic sperm.
Was he my first? No need to be so coy. No, he wasn't my first. That would have been Carl. He was a local boy in a band. He was a bit of a shit. But he was sexy. We were 15.
Carl must have been the shit, the sexiest shit, but still not as good looking as a hairbrush. Right? That's so weird. Jesus. This game is like, it's like watching a movie. It's so captivating.
No, I was 15. Carl was older. 17, I think. I was really into him, regardless of how he actually behaved. Lots of drunken teenage sex. We did it in a church once. Stupid.
You rebels.
So he got tired of us and we split up after about 6 months. It was sad, but those early experiences, they help you realise who's really important to you, you know? Family.
Family. Keyword. Family.
Yeah, when I was at school. I worked part-time in the front shop. It was sort of an extended family thing. My dad used to work there, my mum worked there before I was born. I took care of paperwork, filing, typing out invoices, that kind of thing. It was a good job for a girl back then. I didn't work a till or anything, I was quite shy, so I wouldn't have liked to have worked a till.
So I'm guessing this is Hannah, the one that hasn't got the tattoo, and the shy one. Alright? I'm gonna try Mum and see what it shows up. Yeah, I tried Mother before, but Mum seems to be the word.
We couldn't afford our own place. Simon dropped out of school, went full-time at the Glaziers. That was Eric's generosity. We moved in with his mum and dad. They had a spare room for us and the baby, if it came. It was a nice change, time to myself, living there for those months, full of hope.
I find it frustrating and refreshing that we don't get the questions that the interviewer asks. It makes you think, like, what is she responding to?
It was after dinner. I'd spoken to Sam's parents on the phone. I looked up for an early night and I suddenly had this thought. I think it was something his mum had said. She'd been speaking about old stuff, sad stuff, about when we lived there, about the baby. There's some boxes in the cellar, nursery stuff, stuff we never needed and I never had the heart to throw out. I suddenly remembered that when I looked down there the week before, those boxes, that pile was in the wrong place. I went cold all over. I went down there with a torch and went straight to the back, and that's when I saw the bin bags. Pulled them open, saw the body. I screamed, and that's when I called the police.